Hey, what is up, everybody? Platform Disciple here, and I have a pretty exciting video to share with you all today. I wanted to basically announce to anyone who hadn't heard that there is a new Infinity Wars set coming out called Revelations, and the Kickstarter for that is going to go live on the 17th of this month. So be on the lookout for that. Also, if you want to make sure that you are getting updates on the set and the Kickstarter, go to lightmare.com.au/revelations. There's currently a way to subscribe, put your email in there, which will put you in a raffle to win some God packs and other perks. So go ahead and do that. If you're already interested in the game, it's just a free possibility of getting some cool stuff. But anyways, the real reason we're here is that the folks on the Infinity Wars team gave me 3 cards to spoil, and I have not looked at them yet. So this is going to be a live reaction, and I'm really, fingers crossed, hoping that I got some cool cards to share with you. But with that, I am going to open the link here and see what we're dealing with. Okay. All right, so the first card is an uncommon. It's Keening Deathwing, and it is a 6-cost single purity exiles card. Costs 3 morale if it dies, and it is a character Demon Beast, and Demon and Beast are both relevant tribes, so maybe that'll come into play here. And it has Flying, Deadly, and Plunder 2, and it has when Keening Deathwing attacks, discard the leftmost card in your hand. And it's got Exile 5. So if you discard Keening Deathwing, you can play Keening Deathwing from your discard pile the turn after at a reduced cost of 1. So you can play it for 5. And it's a 12/10. So initial thoughts on this card. I think that the combination of Flying and Plunder is always quite potent because it means that you're likely to actually trigger Plunder. And for the folks who may not know, Plunder is when you deal damage to the enemy fortress with that character, you draw that many cards. So if this guy gets through and is not defended, you draw 2 cards. So I think this is a pretty good card. I don't know if it's... We'll have to wait and see. So my thoughts is it might be a little slow, but if it gets online, it seems good, especially for Rift Run, the draft format, which is currently not available, but when it becomes available, this seems like a pretty strong card in the draft format. All right, let's move on to our next one. Okay, Talic Accords, and this is an 8-cost ability, and it is Genesis and Flame Dawn, which is an interesting combination. And for the rest of the game, at the end of the turn, characters in your hand get +4/+4. Okay, and it's an uncommon, which is interesting because this seems like an effect that I would almost expect it rare because it's kind of an unusual effect. And this card's a little difficult to evaluate because the question is which characters are you trying to get that +4/+4 on? Some thoughts are you could potentially have a bunch of Flame Dawn characters with charge in your hand, and if you leave them in your hand long enough, they can get potentially lethal threat range before they end up on the board. So they can be very large and difficult for your opponent to interact with. But maybe there's also some hidden combo potential here that I'm not immediately recognizing. I think that the obvious use is just to have a lot of cards in your hand at once and get advantage from that kind of AoE buff, because if you have 4 characters in your hand, this is generating 16 worth of attack and health every turn. It's not on the board, but this is an interesting effect. It's also cool that it's for the rest of the game, so you can be playing multiple of these and they can stack. And if you get a recycle effect, you could potentially have more than 3. So your characters could be getting maybe like +16/+16 at the end of every turn. Yeah, I think this card, the longer the game goes on, the more potent it gets. And It's just a question of, is there a deck that you can put this in that can take advantage of stalling out the game a little? Because you do have to get to turn 8, and then you do have to wait maybe 1 or 2 turns for it to really start kicking in. All right, and the last card, Cassiel the Betrayed. And Cassiel's a familiar character. This is an epic. So it's a 6 cost, 1 Purity Overseer's card, 10 morale. It is a unique character, Angel. Vigilance, Vigilance, for those who may not know, means it deploys directly to the defense zone. And it's a 10/16, and when Cassiel the Betrayed dies, create a Cassiel Grave in your hand. And I don't know what Cassiel's Grave is. Huh. So this card's very hard to evaluate without knowing what Cassiel's Grave is. My initial thoughts are, it's a Vigilance character that has, a reasonable stat line. So if Cassiel's Grave is like at least decent, then I would think that this card is probably pretty good. But stay tuned, because I may need to go back and add to this video once I see what Cassiel's Grave is. So hopefully I will get back to you in literally just a second here.
A few moments later.
Hey folks, so I am back, and I did get in touch with the folks at Lightmare to ask about Cassiel's Grave, and I've basically been told that they're keeping it a secret, that it is a surprise that we will learn about later. So, with that being said, I think it's very difficult to analyze Cassiel, this new version of Cassiel as is. It seems like it has the potential to be a good card, because at its base value of just being a 6 cost 10/16 Vigilance, it's mediocre, but has the potential for that extra card that you get when it dies to be something that really could be a game changer. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is, and be sure to check out my channel, be subscribed so that I can get you that update when it comes out. And before we wrap up here, I do want to say that I've had a little more time to think about Talic Accords, and one thought I was having is that that card has the potential to really define a whole new type of deck. That regardless of whether the card is powerful or not, which I think it's difficult to say as is, nothing in the game really does this, making characters in your hand bigger every turn for the rest of the game. So if it does turn out to be good, it's going to be the central card of the deck that it ends up in. All right, and with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the spoilers, and I hope to see you in-game, and I'm looking forward to going through some of the rest of the cards from the new set with you as they come out. See you next time.